Hello. Today's passage is Matthew chapter 24, verses 26 to 35. That's Matthew 24, verses 26 to 35. In today's passage, we continue to read about what Jesus has been saying throughout this chapter related to his second coming. He's laid out some signs that will be an indicator of when this return will happen. Now, in the first verse, tomorrow's reading, Jesus clearly says no one knows the day or hour when Jesus will return. Not even Jesus, only the Father. So if in reading these signs in Matthew 24 we start to think we might have some brilliant insight, then it's probably time to humble ourselves and accept that it won't be next Tuesday at 3:15 p.m. But to balance that, Jesus does seem to be saying we can know roughly the season, even if we don't know the detail. All these signs in chapter 24 are indicators that the time is drawing near. There is one repeated warning throughout this message, and it's this: don't let anyone mislead you. Jesus knows that we are a loving church and that we are longing for his return. And as such, we are vulnerable to searching for it because someone has said, he's over here or he's over there. But in the first verse of our reading, Jesus says, don't even bother to go and look. Why? Because his second coming will be nothing like his first. At his first coming, he kind of slipped into the world largely unnoticed. But at his second coming, everyone will know, and you'll be in no doubt. So if it only might be Jesus, then it isn't. In fact, in verse 27, Jesus implies that his second coming will be as blatant as lightning flashing across the sky. You'll see it wherever you are in the world. The Greek word parousia means coming. And parousia implies both someone's arrival but also their staying. Jesus is both arriving and staying next time he comes. Parousia also has another interesting facet to it, which is the idea of a returning victorious army general. Not only did they arrive, but the city would go out to meet them and then bring them back into the city in celebration. In a similar way, when Jesus appears, we, the welcoming party, will join him in his triumphant return. In verse 32, Jesus returns to the idea of reading the seasons by using the example of a fig tree. When you see signs of life after the long winter months, you know that spring is on its way. We do this with a cherry tree in our garden. Around this time of year, you can see small buds, almost like the tree is pulsing with life. And this is a sure sign that winter is over and we are entering spring. We don't know the exact day or hour when those buds will break into blossom, but we do know that we are in the right season. Verse 34 is a particularly hard verse to understand. When Jesus says this generation won't pass away until all these things have happened, is he referring to the immediate generation he was talking to? In which case people look to explain all the signs through the lens of the destruction of Jerusalem in AD 70. Or was he talking about the Jewish race and their survival through many atrocities? The interpretation that makes most sense to me is that Jesus is saying that this generation, the generation that experiences these end time signs I've been talking about, won't pass away until they are complete. The implication here is that this process won't last too long. All the signs, including the triumphant return of King Jesus, will happen within a generation. How long is a generation? Well, around 25 years, according to Google. Is Jesus coming back tomorrow? Well, only the Father really knows, but I think it unlikely. Much more likely, bearing in mind the proliferation of the signs of spring, is that it could be in my lifetime, and even more likely in my grandchildren's lifetime. Spring is on the way. Let's celebrate the confidence we have that the King is coming soon. And let's do all we do today with that faith and expectation. Have a blessed day.